Alright guys, happy weekend. This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall. On point reviews all day, every day. I'm excited to bring this to you guys thanks to some of our friends. We do have a lot of friends here. And we are going to talk about a release, a 2020 release. Pretty much, I think, a couple weeks ago it released. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but people are highly curious about it. And this is none other than the new 2020 release for men by Louis Vuitton. LV right here, guys, and this is none other than Meteore. I'm just called Meteore, not Meteor, even if I can say Meteor. Meteore by Louis Vuitton. This one came out I think September 1, September 3, something like that. And this is part of the men's line, the one that has Le Monzete. That's like one of my favorite Louis Vuitton fragrances. And so with this coming into that line, that really made me highly curious. And a lot of people are actually curious. So thanks to one of our friends of the channel, he sent me this one. Let's go talk about Meteore. Let's hit the music. Okay, we're back, guys. Meteore. Let's go spray it real quickly, as always. Okay, so let me tell you guys the real quick story of how the heck I ended up with this Meteore sample that I'm sure you'd have to buy a Louis Vuitton item just to get this sample. I know for sure that they don't sell this stuff, right? There was one guy I knew that actually had a reservation for a bottle, and I was just as excited as him. And he had samples too, but then he wasn't really selling them, So, but I talked about it a lot on my Instagram, and then out of nowhere comes a friend of the channel, and his name's like Louis Vuitton, and I was just like, oh man, this guy is like, he's like some of my friends who are like really, really big LV buyers or VIPs. And if you're an LV buyer or VIP, I mean, this is nothing. They send you like 10 of these. They send you lots and lots of these. If you buy like just the normal shoes that are like what, 1,500 or no, it's like 800, I think. If you buy like a wallet, which is like what, maybe 500, they'll give you a ton of these samples if you ask, which is a really, really cool thing. It's a nice little upsell, especially when you're in the store itself. LV stores are really awesome, especially the flagship ones. Okay, so anyways, let's talk about this real quickly. The reason why he sent me this was because he was upset. Okay, he was upset that this one, and he is a big LV fragrance fan, he was upset that this one smelled so much like a designer that he was like, Troy, here. Here you go. I want you to dissect this. I want you to tell the people, does it really smell like a designer, or am I really just going crazy? Whatever, right? So send this over to me, and I was so excited to have it because, well, nobody's really talking about it. And the other guy that was like super hyped up his own Meteore, well, he kind of just kept quiet. Like, I haven't heard about this Meteore. I know he was selling decants, so I didn't know if reviewers were having their their time with this. Okay, but anyways, the moment I sprayed Meteore on my hand, on my wrist, okay, the first time, I immediately contacted my guy and I said, man, it really does. And it's crazy because it's not a fragrance that I don't know. Like, it's not something that, oh, you know what, I smelled this before. Like other people, they'll be like, oh, it's been a while, I haven't smelled this before. I was like, yo, dude, whatever that fragrance is somewhere here in my house. Like, I actually own it. It's somewhere here that really, really reminds me of this Meteore the moment I spray it. And before I continue with that, by the way, I found it. Let's talk about the notes so that you guys, maybe you can play this guessing game with me and be like, oh man, based on the notes, it's this one. So the good part about Meteore, okay, in general, is that when you spray it, you do know that it's made from high quality ingredients. That's for sure. So even if this might smell designer-ish based on me and my friend who sent this to me, This one does not smell cheap, FYI. High quality ingredients. This one opens with two types of orange and bergamot, okay, on the opening, which is, yeah, when you look at the notes, dude, orange and bergamot sounds very familiar, but that's not just it. But let me tell you, it's a huge dose of orange and sparkling bergamot. Now, this is a very likable part, but again, for the frag owner, you're gonna be like, I know this so well. For the casual that doesn't really collect perfumes, they'll probably think, oh, this is fresh and nice and all of that, right? Because orange and bergamot really go together very well. Okay, now after that, the mid notes, you got Neroli. Okay, lovely Neroli. Okay, now the Neroli basically continues the trend of the oranges. You know, Neroli is sort of like an orange type scent as well, like an orange blossom type scent as well. And Neroli here is wonderful. Okay, again, high quality Neroli continues the trend because the opening notes are like a blast of its own. You know, you really can tell, like, the mandarins are different. It's very orangey, you know, juicy, bright bergamot. You know, like, you can really tell in the beginning. Now the Neroli here is a strong mid note. Okay, and by the time you get to the Neroli, this is where, if you own various fragrances, you start really thinking, you know what, this reminds me of a gazillion other fragrances. A gazillion. You're gonna be like, my gosh, this is such a common combination. That's what's gonna come into your heads. And again, maybe even designer. Okay, the curve here that makes it slightly different are the peppers, the spices. Okay, you have black and pink pepper on the mid notes, as well as nutmeg and cardamom, and those contribute to basically the spice. Okay, it turns, I mean, and this is after a while, because you go through you go through maybe an hour or maybe hour and a half of that orange and bergamot, and then you got Neroli for maybe another couple hours, and then after the midpoint, you do get that manly and spicy type scent. So I don't know if, you know, the point of this is like, you know, the meteor is orange, and then when it drops on the earth, it turns into ashes. So the ashes is spice, the peppers. I don't know if that's maybe that's the creative, you know, thought about this, because I was like, meteor, man, you know, how does compare to a meteor? But orange, you know, orange and flaming in outer space, and then ashes and pepper once it hits the earth. You know, that's just my guess. But you know, you do have this spicy, manly spicy. Neroli lingers, obviously, because Neroli, like I told you guys, is strong mid note here. So it's Neroli plus spicy. Okay, and then the base note is just vetiver. Okay, so vetiver is a base note here, very pronounced in the end when everything fades away, the spice fades away, Neroli fades away. I mean, this is probably 4 hours in. It's green, grassy, it blends well, you know, with everything else. I mean, it's a nice ending to this fragrance. You know, to me, it's a really nice base note. Actually, it's a good combination. So in the end, this is a typical, like, fresh, spicy man scent. Okay, and I think that people who like simplicity will like this one right here. People who like simplicity will definitely like Meteore, because it's very, very simple. Okay, as for, man, the perfume, right? Because I was just like, man, what the heck is this? I mean, there has to be it's here in my you know, in my collection, right? I mean, the thing is, I don't collect a lot of designers, so that's easy to narrow down. If I did, I'd be dead. I wouldn't give you guys the answer. But the one that's close to this in some way, or reminds me, okay, is Jean Varvatos Artisan Pure. It's Jean Varvatos Artisan Pure. That's the one that I figured it out. I was like, oh, it's that one. And I haven't reviewed this, actually. It's just lying down here. But Jean Varvatos Artisan Pure is actually super popular in the designer crowd. I mean, a lot of people really hail this as one of the best, right? And because it is simple but beautiful, you know, simple ingredients but beautiful. Orange, same thing, orange, bergamot, and then it's got bitter orange in the perfume, and it's like, oh gosh, like, I was like, oh, I knew it. I was like, it was something like this. And I'm sure there are other designers that kind of smell like this, but the problem with the Artisan Pure is that the performance is really dead. It is really nothing. It doesn't last. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why this is somewhat like it's a cult classic, but performance wise, it kind of sucks. Now you have this Meteore that will really give you very similar vibes, but is high quality on the ingredients, and it's also higher on the performance. So for those fans of maybe Artisan Pure and you're looking for like a niche version, then look no further. You have Louis Vuitton out here. And let me tell you guys, one of the things, maybe it's a gimmick that they have or whatever, but one of the things that they do is that they do have refillable bottles at the store. So they do have refillable bottles. All you have to do is once you run out, you go back to the store that has they call it a perfume fountain, and I know that they refill it for way less, way less than what you paid for it. Okay, for the bottle, if you ever get a bottle of Meteore. Okay, but yeah, I mean, really, there's a lot of Artisan Pure vibes on this one, and you guys know I don't like to compare and be like this one's like this, but in this occasion, I mean, the thing that precipitates this, the reason why we even have this in the first place is our guy was like, dude, it really smells like a designer. So I was like, oh man, but it has to be simple and good, and to me, it was Artisan Pure. Okay, so yeah, that's my quick assessment of Meteore. I mean, is it a nice buy? For a Fragcom guy, depends where you're at in Fragcom. Are you searching things that are smelling like the Artisan Pure? Because a lot of people are blown away when they try Artisan Pure. So go to an LV store and maybe try one of these. Maybe they'll let you spray one of these, or even give this to you, maybe if you've got some Jedi mind tricks. But definitely, for me, is it worth $350? No, that's a real stretch, guys. Like, I mean, I could live without Artisan Pure. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you want me to pay $350 for an Artisan Pure, I'd probably say no, because, well, that's sort of like Roja territory, or something that I really like, right? So I'll have to forfeit that to get this, and I'm not sure I would do that. Okay, but I mean, is it nice to buy a decant? Yeah, just buy a decant or get a sample, or find a friend that actually loves LV that sells it, at a good price. But yeah, for me, I mean, full bottle, definitely a no for me. Although LV has a lot of hits like Ombre Nomad, Le Manzete, which I love, Afternoon Swim, you gotta understand a lot of those are made popular by Fragcom. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like people buying the perfumes at the store, they're buying the bags and buying the $10,000 jacket is like so crazy over the perfume. No, you rarely hear that. It's basically a Fragcom thing. It's basically also hearsay. Like, you heard it from somebody that this is good, and then the wave starts happening, right? But mostly perfumes like this is made for the people that are just buying at the store, and they, it's like a quick upsell. Make another $300, because hey, you're already spending $2,000, right? And I know the feeling, because when I used to buy at LV, they treat you really well. They give you the champagne, they sit you down, and then they give you a bunch of upsells. And if you're, like I said, if money isn't an object to you, going to these Louis Vuittons and you got $2,000 to spend on a bag, or $5,000, this $300 for this one is probably nothing. You know what I mean? And if they spray it on you and you don't know crap about fragrances, you don't know anything about John Varvatos, dude, you might immediately be like, oh yeah, that smells good. Yeah, oh yeah, let me get one of those. See? So, I mean, there's a method to the madness. LVMH they're the best at what they do. So this one, Meteore, I think this is for the person or the people that's at the store. I'm not so sure if Fragcom, there's enough Fragcom interest that will draw it in. I mean, that's why I'm making this video. Okay, so, but definitely check it out. I mean, who knows? Maybe this will, make an impact to you guys. Okay, for me, it's nice, it's simple, but $350, I'm not sure. Okay, and I want to thank my friend Louis Vuitton on Instagram for helping me out, hooking me up. I mean, he sent this to me free of charge, and he wanted me to really talk about it and be like, yo, does it really smell like a designer? And yeah, 100%. But better ingredients, better ingredients, and definitely better performance than that Artisan Pure for sure, because the Artisan Pure, once I sprayed it on my hand, like, it was gone in an instant. So I would choose this over Artisan Pure. Okay, my guy Louis Vuitton said that he would like Artisan Pure better, so I gotta ask him about that. Okay, all right, so that's it. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and we do have the other 2020 releases on our video list. We have California Dream, and we have Nuit de Feu, which I will link at the end of this video. Make sure you guys watch that. Okay, so until then, this is Troy D. God bless and take care.